Yeah, I think everybody heard that.
Yeah, I
So,
hate that voice. It freaks me out all the time.
So let's give you first a brief introduction of our guest speakers today. Niklas Kilburg is the partner manager for Lumoa. It's a next generation AI-powered customer insight platform, and Niklas is working there and has constantly connection with CX leaders and Lumoa's partners. Niklas has been always passionate about customer experience and always wanted to give customers a voice and enabling then decision makers to take actions based on that. On the other side, we have Matthieu. You might know he's the founder of CXMania, a consultancy which helps organization make better decisions for their customer experience, but also we help organizations create successful CX programs. Matthieu has dedicated his whole career in the field of customer experience, so he's a very big expert on it, and worked for some of the most customer-centric commerce organizations, such as Zalando or Casper, where not only gained experience, but also he implemented projects that were very valuable for their customers. And in today's conversation, we bring together these two great personalities to talk about how we can actually use artificial intelligence to enhance customer experience. So on top of explaining how you can use it to leverage artificial intelligence to set up the right strategy, analyze conversations, and drive actions, they will also share a real world case where conversational analytics has helped a company significantly improve their data reliability, save cost, but also make better business decisions. I won't say much more, just to make sure you can use the Q&A function and the chat to write any questions that come to mind during the webinar. As I said, we will be able to answer them toward the end when the presentation is finished. Now, please join me to welcome our guest speakers again. And Matthieu, I will hand over to you.
Yes, thank you so much, Rita. Thank you for the introduction. And yeah, thank you also, Niklas, for being here.
Thank you for having me.
That feels really good to be talking again about VOC, and some of the people who are listening now know how passionate I can be with voice of the customer. I do a lot of webinars, a lot of conversations, a lot of work around the VOC for the clients. But today is a bit particular because it's a new thing that I'm actually going to present. It's something that 2 months ago I wasn't sure we would have, and this is this conversational analytics topic. When Lumoa presented the feature, I got very, very geeky right away. And I just wanted to do and to test this feature with a client and just see how it works and really see the value and everything. So what I'm going to present here today with Niklas is just our journey into understanding that and into getting the value. We are going to share data that are real data, but obviously, because this is coming from a client, we cannot show you the full tool. We only are able to show you a PowerPoint presentation, but don't worry, the value will be the same. We want to really make sure when we talk about VOC that you are all in line and understanding what we say. So here's the first poll question that we want to ask. And just very quickly, if you could tell us if your company already use a survey tool and if you're familiar with it, if that's the case. Or not. Host and panelists cannot vote. That makes sense. I'm just gonna, I guess, wait for the results. I don't know if I can actually, if I have to close the part.
I can see the progress. We have
okay.
6 out of 11. So yeah, other 4 people, and then we can share.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And you can then, I guess, tell me, because I don't want to leave
I can share the result, yes.
Yeah. And could you also send the second one? It's about knowledge on the voice of the customer.
Yeah, as soon as this ends, we would be able to. Yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah, it's just to know what kind of, if I can just use the word VOC, or if I have to basically explain what is voice of customer. We have a few complementary slides that we might use or not. Also, in the way we'll use our examples. This is always good to know everyone's level of understanding. How is the results for the
We're missing
one?
1 person just for the first question. Yeah.
That's good. You can also maybe send the second.
All right. So for this one, we can share the result already. Can you see from your screen?
Okay. So most people, a lot of people. Okay. No VOC tool. Already use a survey tool. Yes. Perfect. Fantastic.
Okay.
So we can go quickly on the definitions and longer on the juicy parts, I guess.
I will launch the second question. Here we go.
Please don't take the I'm a VOC expert to literal. If you know about VOC, this is fine. I also don't consider myself a VOC expert, so but yeah. Just to know if you're in the top 2 or the bottom 2, let's say.
We have a very varied answer.
Cool.
That's good. Yeah, that's very good.
Okay.
Waiting just for 2 people more and then sharing.
Okay.
Here we go. Finished. That was a quick one. Share result.
Oh wow. Okay. Very interesting. Okay. So we will spend a bit of time explaining VOC, and then I guess that's gonna be my next slide, which I would have skipped otherwise. But voice of the customer, the VOC. This is about gathering feedback from your customers, and this is about gathering feedback from everywhere in the sphere where they are able to give you feedback. It could be surveys, it could be online platforms. So you can have, like, for example, Trustpilot. You have social media where they can talk about you. They don't necessarily talk to you, but they talk about you. So building this voice of the customer, putting this one place to have all of the inputs is what is very, very important. And Niklas will show you how they do that in the next slide. You'll see there's a lot of different channels and different sources. What we want to do is highlighted here is to understand customers' needs. That makes sense, but that's really at the basis and at the essence of a customer experience program or CX program, where you really start, your first pillar is understand truly what your customer is saying. And I'm going to show in the next few slides also, there are a few ways of doing it. What we really are aiming here with Lumoa and CXMania together is to have unbiased, truthful insights that you can really use and transform into actions. So that's really going to be our focus. Now, AI-based customer feedback platforms. Niklas, this one is for you. Beautiful slide, definitely not mine.
Yes, hello from my end as well. Thank you for handing over the voice towards me. So yeah, let's speak a bit about AI-based customer feedback platforms. So what we have come up with at Lumoa is, so what Matthieu just shared with us. So the voice of the customer or customer feedback can lay in various sources. So such as like online reviews, such as survey responses. What we've learned in the question as well, that many of you already have like survey tools in place. They can also lie in ticketing systems. They can lie in they can lie in conversations, such as like email support conversation, chat conversations, phone call transcripts. So we wanted to build a tool which brings all these different sources together to one place. And we have built it in a way that we can bring them all very easily in. And we have developed an advanced AI, which basically reads through all this text, which categorizes it into topics and subtopics by building a taxonomy, and it very easily delivers you trends and insights that your customers or potential customers are frequently mentioning. So it looks for patterns, and it basically also does like an impact calculation. So it basically tells you what to prioritize first. So which topic your customers are frequently mentioning about you, and which like impacts the customer satisfaction the most. So it really lets you then prioritize what to focus on first, and also lets you create really like actions, like how to become more customer centric. And we build it in a way that we believe that the voice of the customer is everyone's business within an organization. So what the customers are saying is everyone's business. So we wanted to build the UI in the tool so that it's very accessible to everyone. And we build it so that you can also share it like with everyone in the organization at no additional costs.
Yeah. And that's really what you want to get from all of this, right? The automation and the speed is why actually we're using that with all of our clients. So just to give you an overview, so you understand the context of how we're helping these clients, you will see some of the data of. We are insights managers, meaning we are the experts at using Lumoa as a tool, but this is for us the start, what I was saying. Lumoa gets us the voice of the customer, and from the voice of the customer, we get everything rolling within the organization. Monitoring business and customer metrics to generate insights, and we talk about action plans. We even talk about CX strategy, obviously. We talk about return on investment. We measure, calculate all of those KPIs, we create these action plans and work with all of the teams. So VOC is the first step. This is what we'll see today, but I'll show you as well that it can be more. Yeah. I went a bit fast. Let's talk about AI, how it works. So I've done a lot of webinars about AI because it's not our first webinar with Lumoa, but just to show a bit of a difference. If you do not have an AI-based tool, you are either very wealthy as an organization because you can still act like this is an AI tool where you can ask a lot of insights, and then you have a few teams that are actually categorizing all of these insights. I remember I did that when I did that. I was working with teams who did that when I was at Zalando, where they would read some feedback, categorize it manually. You have to read, click, and approve the feedback and then send it into the tool. That was 10 years ago. That costed a lot of money. Yeah, that was really not 2023 for sure. So either you are this kind of company, or you will have to sacrifice insights quality for a simpler survey, a survey which you can see on the back here, where you have a lot of questions being asked, but for simplicity and because you cannot really categorize, the user has to put, I totally agree, totally disagree, in those tick boxes, which in the end, compared to this categorization with Lumoa, or AI-based tool, you can really have this text field here. And that's really where the magic happens. The AI will read all of the sentiment that you have. Just to show you an example, right? And I'll go quickly here, and in the questions, if you guys have questions later, we can definitely go further. When you have a categorization tool, which is taking text like this, they are going to be based on the score. Well, 5 out of 5 is very positive. So now all of the keywords that I'm going to be able to tag as the tool, because you've taught me the keywords, are going to be seen also as positive. So you will not understand fully what is going on because there's no further action about the depths of the tool, right, Niklas? I don't know how this is the NLP, right? Part of the tool that can look at the sentiment analysis.
Yeah, so it looks also like in what manner basically something is mentioned. Like, so it looks at the surroundings. It can like categorize it into sentiment. So meaning like, is something said like in a negative sentiment or positive sentiment? So like, yeah, even though someone is like super happy and gives a score out of 5, there might be still some things for improvement in the feedback. So every feedback is valuable here.
Yeah, exactly. Every piece of a sentence is valuable and goes into all of those categories to give us not only a score, which you will have now out of the CSAT score from the without AI part, but you'll have categories, subcategories, and then you'll basically be able to go and click everywhere to get access to the exact data, right? So just going very quickly, but AI-based tool, they bring you scalability because you have, of course, larger volumes. You don't need all of the languages. If you open to a new market, let's open in Malaysia tomorrow, well, we don't need to hire someone from Malaysia to click on buttons again and categories to categorize the business, right? It's also, of course, much more efficient because it's all automated, more accurate as well. What is, would you say 90%, 95% accuracy at the moment, Niklas?
Yeah, so it depends a bit, but like our data scientists, they always say like it is at least as accurate as a human can be, because of course it depends also like in what manner something is said. And I think what I wanted to add here is as well, like if you look at like companies which operate in various languages, so you can also expect like the voice of the customer in all of these languages, plus even more of those. So which adds like another like blocker basically of systematically analyzing this without the help of AI, because then you need basically to have someone at hand who would speak all these languages.
Yeah, exactly. And it's of course actionable. I'm going to show you that now. And of course, because you remove the human interaction, most of it, then this becomes so much more cost effective. Again, we compared to Zalando times, there is no difference. There is really no difference. And the last one, trustworthy, is really what we care about. I guess both Lumoa and CXMania were making a point on trying to get the right data in the hands of the people, because if you want to make better decisions, well, you need to have better data and data you can trust. So just a 4.2 out of 5 on food will not give me trustworthy data about what to go next.
Yeah,
so just to show
it's really like to have like the data to enable data-based or like based on the customer or voice of the customer data to make the right decisions.
Yeah, exactly. And just to show, right, because now we have the right tool and we can ask for feedback at the right moment, you can create a bit of an ecosystem of surveys along one customer journey here. You can really ask what you, not like you can really ask the question and let the customer tell you what he wants to tell you, not what you want to hear, right? That's the big difference with the first survey I showed you. And then you have a map of what is important to them, and you have a map of their main pain points. And then it's very simple and very straightforward to move from that map to root cause analysis, because I can basically click on the points of the map from the Lumoa tool. This map is a CXMania map to represent it, but same thing from the Lumoa tool. I could click on my vegan option to know what's going on and why my satisfaction here is going down over time, right? Root cause analysis, that will give me, of course, the issue, but also the quotes that are very important to pitch to teams and to connect and to make this person or these numbers real and tangible and a real human behind all of that. And then all the way to prioritization. So really from Lumoa to here, this is just in a quick view, and you can do a lot, right? But what we were trying to do here specifically, now that we've talked about all of those points, is trying to get more answers, because we wanted to go even further when it comes to adding value and reliability of the data. So now conversational, I can't pronounce it. Conversational analytics is the topic, and maybe Niklas, you can.
Yes, sure. So maybe first, like, what do you mean? What do we mean by conversational analytics? So we talk about customer support functions who receive a ton of emails or phone calls or chat, like which is commonly used also on websites. So we attempted to analyze those data and see why do people actually contact those support functions, and in like what did they feel like when contacting these support functions. And it of course adds the value that you don't first need to ask for the feedback, but you don't need to worry about response rates and so on, but that's typically data what you already have available and which can immediately make a difference if acted upon.
And not only you get the full response, like 100% response rate on what happens, but you also get that unbiased, which is always something that we fear when you reply to surveys. Well, maybe the most annoyed people are just going to put you into spam or never reply to you. there's always a bit of a bias. Here, there's no bias. It's just the entire conversations from your entire support team, from all of the channels, even text, speech.
Yeah.
You said
And
chat as well, right?
yes, and it is also data like if analyzed like systematically. Like we go away from like hunches. Like if you ask like a support agent, like why do people frequently call in or write in via email? So it basically backs it up with data, and we go back from like hunches like to the real picture and the real situation, and we will be also able to follow it over time. Like is there changes this month versus last month, and so on.
Exactly. And that really comes from an issue I've been having with this ticketing tool for years, because I love using them. And I think contact reasons are a really, really important thing to get, having all of this categorization analytics around your contact reasons, but also who are the customers, where they come from, what they bought, when do they contact you. This is always very interesting to improve your productivity of the support and etc. But what about actually getting to the root cause of the issue? It is impossible. You cannot get the customer story. And so many times, and this is why I was so excited by the conversational analytics feature. When I have an issue and I see, oh, why is there like 10% more issues this month on deliveries? I wasn't aware. No one told me that there was a specific issue. So now I'm going to get into the root cause to see what's happening. While you click on contact reasons, what do you see? There's just a bunch of emails. They are filtered by the due date or like the resolve date or something. And you just have to go through every email and just look at all of them, try to understand with your piece of paper or with an Excel document, what is the source? What is the reason for that email? How many are they? This is all impossible to do. So you cannot base those contact reasons on like for that reason of like getting the root cause. The contact reasons are not sufficient. They're good at telling you the trend, but that's basically it. So yeah, that's why we did the test, right, Niklas? So maybe you can explain a bit more what we did and what was the process?
Yes, sure. So like we tested it basically with 7,000 like real customer emails over the spread, I believe 4 or 5 months.
Yeah.
So we really wanted to get like get to the courses like and did something change in the data. And we applied Lumoa on there, and we actually also have like there like a cleaning algorithm, because of course different than to like survey responses, there is a bit of subtext and noise, which is not actually relevant in understanding why customers are calling in. So this can be certain names, it can be like just like some salutation like hello, kind regards, and so on. So it's like things which were to disregard in this. So we have this algorithm which deletes, so to say, it from the data, or it does not run our basic like AI model on this part. So that's how we started off, and the objectives were of course to get better insights and higher data reliability, and to get to the root causes, like why do people like write emails to this specific customer case.
Yeah, I mean, I'll let you continue on that one, because that's a bit the results, even though I know you're not going to explain everything. It's a lot of information here.
Yes,
but what is in a nutshell, like the nugget from here?
Yeah, maybe just like what are we looking here at? So what we see on the left bottom corner is like our topic responses. So that's basically how often in those emails people use like how often like our AI has categorized an email into each of these topics, and then you could just see like how much percent in total were this and how much emails in total. And what we see on the right hand side is like our topic impacts, and there we see in what way do people speak about it. Like, is it more like a positive, neutral, or negative way? So in red represented is the negative way, in the gray the neutral, and in green the positive way. and we can see, like, do people write emails? Are they more negative, or like, yeah, what do they really talk about? So that's just like a high level overview here.
Mm-hmm. And of course, this is going to be showing mostly negative information, because that's the customer having an issue, right? So the context
Exactly.
of the tool, the surveying part here is important, but this part is very, very important, because basically now this is my job as part of the insights manager for the client, to look for answers, to look for root cause. And that's just what I did. And I wanted to just show you how simply that was. And in half an hour, how many answers and solutions we got. Well, we said online shop is the #1 topic with 60% of the mentions on those 7,000 emails. So I'm like, okay, that's the worst. Then you open it, you go to subcategories, and you see that the main one is coupons and discounts. I have to say, I was really afraid when I saw 42% of issues online are linked to coupons and discounts, because like I would not have guessed that. And you will see later how the contact reasons don't go so much into the details in telling you this is an issue with contact reasons, with coupons and discounts, sorry. So just by clicking here, the tool reconsidered all of the insights. It's on the right-hand side on the tool. So I put the screenshot here. It's basically telling me, hey, when you click on coupons and discounts, there is 30% of your insights that have an issue with registration codes. And 80% of all of them are French related. And I was like, why France specifically? So I understood there was an issue with the registration code. And I was like, okay, but why in France? So now you click in here and you get only the French messages that are linked to registration codes. You know, you don't have to read everything anymore. This is not your ticketing tool. This is directly the insight, right? I did not receive my discount codes after I registered the product. So that's my pain point. You have highlighted the pain point right away. It doesn't take, you know, more than 12 seconds to do those 2 clicks to see the pain points. And we figured out the issue. There was an issue with the French emails going to spam. That was in a technical setup of the email sequencing, whatever. Like, this is not my area of expertise. My area of expertise was like, hey, there's an issue here. This is the pain point. Figure it out. And can you imagine, like, so this is 60% of feedback. So 2 out of 5 are part of the online shop. So let's the math people do the calculations. That's solving this issue, 80% of 40% of 60%. How many tickets we actually solving in 2 minutes? And it took the people an hour maybe to find the problem and to then solve it, because it was very, very simple. And we would not have had that before without this news. So that's why I was very excited by the results. You will not be able with my ticketing tool to see the insights that are automated. So then I would just need to read all of the emails. I would not be able to measure. I would not be able to see how many users are impacted. And finding the root cause could have been easy, but it could have been difficult. And I could have started looking at online shop and just see 3 emails about mobile sites out of those like 13 people, and just say, hey, mobile team, there seems to be a big issue with on the online shop with this specific part, mobile site. Can you fix it? And we would have worked all of that process, came up with like big projects when it comes about redesigning the website and the mobile version. And in the end, for 13 contacts, right? So now you get the full scale of what we're trying to do. So just summarizing the outcomes, but I think it's quite clear, right? We got new issues and we got to understanding those issues much, much faster. I could start working from the most important ones and not start working from mobile sites, which is not an issue for us. We could dig into this issue. I could measure it. I could prioritize, solve it. And, you know, like, again, that was on 100% of our support tickets. So now if I keep on running this and we continue after the test, this has disappeared. So now over the next month, I'm not gonna see anymore this issue, or if I'm gonna see it, it's not gonna be about the 30% of the registration code. right? It's going to be so much lower as we were showing here. You will see all of the changes. So yeah, that's why I'm excited, Niklas. I don't know if you wanted to say anything on that.
No, I think you brought it to the point, like with the part of like how easily it is to get those insights. And maybe just to mention, like, yeah, you can bring in the various like background variables what you anyway have, like in your ticketing system, in your where you call it, like in your CRM system, so you can really fill it like to the point to make like deduction, like, is this like a problem only specific to a specific customer tier, for example, or like who, like, is it more like do young people maybe more have that problem, or more the older people, and so on. So you can make those kind of deductions very easily, automatically.
So yeah, that was the first thing that was exciting me. And the first thing was learning new things and really on the entire part of my support tickets, right? Not just from survey results. I don't know, very geeky me, but geeky me doesn't stop here, because as I wrote here, I wanted to go even further. And that's really the next step, which I believe adds so much more value to an organization. Because as I said, at CXMania, we're not only the insights manager, but we also try to measure as much as we can, as deep as we can, the impact of issues on performance and profits. So you had the voice of the customer before, right? You had all of the insights, all of the pain points of the customers. Now we try to measure all of this. And I took an example just to comment on that. If you would have 150 contacts per month about lost parcels, this is not just at 10 euros a contact, 1,500 euros you spent on solving the issue, but this is a lot of money on sending the new goods because it has been lost. That's the company's problem, right? You spend a lot of money on shipping, you spend a lot of money on vouchers to say sorry, and you probably also spend a lot of money because you lose customers that have lost faith in what you deliver. So 150 contacts per month about this specific issue is a lot of money every month. And that's really what we tried to give there. So my question was, how do we get more value even from those contact reasons? Because the contact reasons is something we like to trust, but it is also something to take with a pinch of salt when you look at your support ticketing system, right? First of all, I discovered that not every ticket is categorized within a contact reason. There is a small percentage, was 3 to 5%, but still a percentage of tickets that don't even have a contact reason, because the client didn't fill it, because the agent didn't have time to fill it. Everyone who has had an experience in support teams know the pressure there is to answer calls fast, and how little people care about those categorizations at the end of the month. While I believe that they are crucial for that example that I shared before, right? Are they well categorized? It was very difficult to, of course, read and go into all of the emails to figure this out. But I know that because of that lack of time, they are not always well categorized. Or when the customer sets the reason, he doesn't care about going into a list of 50 contact reasons and finding the right one. He just sends you the email or a contact form or whatever, and the categorization is not done properly. Or as you will see, we use with that client 6 contact reasons. They don't give us much information. They will tell me there's a problem on deliveries, but they don't tell me all of the details that I want. And we also figured with Niklas, when we looked into it, that sometimes there's multiple reasons in a single ticket. And it's actually weird to know that those tools, those ticketing tools, only allow for one contact reason. So there's also another bias here. So just to say in here, there's a lot of biases with those contact reasons. So I've called Niklas again. I was like, okay, I'm satisfied, but can we go a little bit further, please? Can you look into the tool and how we can get closer to contact reasons? That was pretty straightforward, Niklas, right?
Yes, so we have actually built Lumoa in a way that you can basically, we have an AI with a human touch. So you can recategorize basically by just drag and drop like different topics the AI has come up with. You can rename them if they in your business context make sense, and you can also merge them together if they mean just the same thing. So you can kind of like really tailor it to your business's needs. So because the AI looks at pattern and repetition in the data, and so you can basically utilize it like fully to the full extent to your needs.
Yeah, to add to what you were just saying now, what you saw before was an out-of-the-box categorization from the tool. Just because the tool is smart enough to do all of this categorization, subcategorization. But obviously for this one intent we had to get so close to contact reasons, we could manipulate a bit those categories. And when you see here, we got basically new contact reasons from the Lumoa. So you can see that's our current contact reasons. They tell us a bit. They don't tell us much, right? While here, categories, subcategories, you can see everything you want to see. And again, now I can also click if I want to know what is happening with missing or damaged parcels here. I could just click on the left-hand part and then have only the information related to this, which I cannot do here, right? I could have, we didn't do it, but I could have two different categories, one for missing parcels and one for damaged parcels, because maybe missing parcel is something different than the damaged one. You just give a voucher, while the missing and then lost parcel would have been a bit more of an expense, right?
Yeah, and you can even go further from there. For example, for this topic, missing or damaged parcels, you could look like, is this like particular relevant to people living in certain areas? If you have this data in your CRM or ticketing tool, so then you can see, for example, people who live in the south of France are experiencing like fairly many this month. So you can dig deeper and then really get to the core and to the root of it.
Yeah. But now you guys can all understand, and this is already the realization of the value of this tool. Now I can link that to my cost machine, if I can say that, to actually see, well, from everything we have seen, all of the subcategories, it seems like this month we've had this much cost and we have been saving versus the last month or the last period we've been saving thanks to our efforts this much money. Maybe the 2,000 savings come from this example I was sharing with you about the discounts of the voucher. This is just an example, right? I'm not sharing real cost data, of course, but I'm sure you all get the point. So we went from a nice picture from all of the surveys that we got already from Lumoa to now the full picture of all issues we got. We got to the root cause analysis. We got to the real reasons we could solve some of these issues very, very easily. I'm a huge fan of low-hanging fruits because they cost the least amount of time and resources, and they can have big impact, like the discount issue we found, right? And from that, now we could even say, well, this discount issue took us an hour and a half and actually saved us 10,000 euros per month, which is huge, right? Of course, when you want to have a successful CX program, it is changing the way you think the business. It is changing the way you make decisions that are now linked to a cost. Because of course, I care. You also, Niklas. We both care about the voice of the customer. But I know that there's a lot of people who care about also revenues and savings. Not that I don't care about them, of course, but a lot of people who only look at numbers like this. And now you can show the link between all of this. So yeah, I wanted to ask. I cannot see the chat, but I wanted to ask all of you if I'm the only one who's excited about those things and who sees the potential for such a feature, or if also some of you are really excited. If you see that as new, as a game changer for your organization, that would be good to know. Before we go to the Q&A, and we have 20 minutes, so that's good. Niklas, you are now offering a free trial where people can basically do this conversational analytics for free. They can use their own data.
Exactly.
And bring them to the tool.
Exactly. Yes. So that's what we offer. So we run it to your data set and basically show you with your own data how this can look basically, and how it can spot certain things, so you can validate it basically for yourself. And if you're interested in that, you can contact me directly or through Matthieu.
Yeah, and we'll support there as well to provide a bit of an understanding and some recommendations if you want to. This is like value that you get, of course, for free, and that you can basically get in a couple hours of work. You need to go into your ticketing system, download the right information, so the text, download the right metadata or the right like filters or ticket categorization buttons, whatever that's called, and fields, and then just send that to Niklas. He's gonna get you the tool. We're gonna look into it. We're going to see how that differentiates to the contact reasons, and you'll get recommendations if you want. So that's also a part of the value we are also giving with CXMania. You can just ask us anything about VOC, about CX, about return on investments, about how to move from insights to action, basically anything, right? We have a lot of tools and a lot of also expertise on that. So you can always contact me directly. And that's it. Thank you so much for your time, your attention, for still being here. It is 42, Luisa. I was on time.
Perfect timing. Perfect timing. That's wonderful. Thank you very much, Niklas, Matthieu, because you share such a valuable and incredible insight. Very, very interesting. And I can see that from the conversation, many people are saying that was very exciting and can be used in so many ways. So thank you very much. Now we can open finally the questions to the audience. There are already some. So I would go first from there are many coming actually. So
good.
The first one, I would say, it's from Norma. So Norma, back to the beginning of the presentation. So does this automatically removes duplicate tickets?
Niklas, this is for you. I think the answer is yes, right?
Yes. So yeah,
the question is, does it automatically remove duplicate tickets?
Yeah, and I guess it depends a bit. Like, yeah, it would definitely see those duplicates and remove it. Like, yeah. Yeah. Or like, I guess it depends a bit. Like how the would the ticketing system recognize also those duplicates or not?
Some would, not all of them, I guess. You would have anyway, if you would send the ticket number, ticket ID, that would be directly removed. I guess it would need to be the same email from the same person. I don't know how it would work actually.
I'm actually also not.
Yeah,
I'm actually now not sure. Like if it would be two separate tickets and they would be kind of like two separate pieces. So I guess it would not detect that. Basically,
you would always be able from the Excel anyway, because then you will just remove the duplicates from there. But I'm pretty sure your tool would be able to. Should I go? Duda was asking, the issue discovered, did the AI identify it or was that manual investigation? The issue about the discounts, maybe I share again my screen. It's easier. If I go back in here, the issue, it's a bit both, because it was automatic. I did not do anything. I just clicked on coupons and discounts, and I just clicked on, this is automated inside. This is what the tool is giving me. There's an issue about your registration codes and about French people. And kind of like I click here to say, show me. And when I say show me,
maybe I can say there also like a little bit how it works. So if you basically tick box like any of those subtopics, it looks like in a second step basically on recurring phrases and words. It tells you like the context also they are used in, and it looks also at all the back data what you have had. So for example, one of the background variables here was the language, in this case French. So it looks like basically it puts all these pieces together and lets you then kind of like get to the root, like whether this is like a particular problem for French or for like any other background data you have in there, and it gives you then in form of percentages. So like I would say, like in this case, a fairly high percentage of French customers had that problem.
Yeah. And so then I just click here, show me, and then I get the result and the pain point myself. So in a way, it's automatic, and I just had to click twice. That's how I would say that.
Yeah, I think like it's in a way like very like user friendly, that it's just like a few clicks and you will be able to digest and get basically the story.
Yeah. How long did it take me to set it up? The first time, this first iteration you have here, it took me 10 minutes to download the Excel from my ticketing tool, send that to Niklas. That's it. They did everything themselves there. I just got this out of the box, really, like all of this categorization was there because the tool gets it. Then to do the second one, in here, those new contact reasons, it took about an hour to figure out what I wanted to get as the contact reasons and sub-contact reasons, and trying to move them around, because that was already quite interesting. Maybe, for example, I don't know, returns would have been put under sustainability, so I moved it here under this new topic, because sustainability was not really a contact reason, but I still wanted to know returns issues. So it's really easy and intuitive to move things from category to category.
Yeah, we build it in a way that is basically like a drag and drop. So
yeah. We're used to that, yeah. Just to confirm, are the reason codes automatically created by bots? Yes, by the customer in the end, right? All of this is the beauty of it, right? I have created, I mean, I did not, but the client created contact reasons. That's what they want to hear. This is what the customer is telling you. So this is a direct translation to this message here. If there is no issue about payments on the online shop, well, this does not exist. This is really, while the tool is seeing it, that you can see that that issue. So really it changes how you think about feedback between what I want to hear and what the customer wants to tell me. And that's really this full value about AI that I was mentioning in part one. We just have this one question, open text fields, and then the tool does everything by itself. For beginner in CX metrics, measurement and return on investment, how can one learn this key skill? Well, we can do an internship at CXMania, because this is really the core of what everything we do. Where would you go in order to learn about CX metrics, measurements, and return on investments? Well, I propose the two of us to have a conversation about this, and I'm happy to show you some cool stuff about what we do, because yeah, it is exciting. It is a super cool thing, and this is at the base of everything we do. So just shoot me an email and I can show you a few of my screenshots, how we connect customer insights to business performance. Why do we care about certain metrics and not others? So one example is the fact that a metric can be customer centric, meaning if you improve that metric, the customer will see it, and this is going to impact customer satisfaction. And yeah, how do you do all of this? Happy to talk with you.
I can see here, I think in the chat, there were a few more questions, which were just like, I guess, in the different format, but now They
Yeah,
jumped
there's one
somewhere on
from
my screen, so I don't
yeah.
see them anymore.
There's one for you, Niklas, from Christian, and he asked. So you mentioned the age of people you giving feedback, yeah?
Yeah.
So how do you know about this data from the company CRM data, or do you have any other source technology on Lumoa's side to analyze this?
Yeah, so this really depends, like how you set it up and what data do you have available. Like, do you have in your CRM already this demographics basically on your customer? Then you can just like forward them into Lumoa in respect, like, you know, with that. So we can then make those analyses. But Lumoa itself does not detect maybe by the jargon like someone uses in the text, like how old someone might be. Yeah, so it's basically what you put in like as a background data, like for example gender, age, and so on, is what you can get out and what you can basically filter by and what you can create those root courses out of. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Thank you, Niklas.
There were a couple of questions that we received by email, so I would like to pose those. So the first one that we had was, what can be potential drawbacks actually of using AI for analyzing our CX?
Niklas, do you have some? That's a very good one, actually.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I can think of one thing. AI has a lot of potential. You need to spend that minimal effort making sure that the AI is going to act for you. What I mean here is that the AI is based on your AI is industry agnostic. I'm not so sure.
Yeah, it is industry agnostic, and it works by looking at patterns and repetition in the data set. So I would say it also depends a bit on the amount and also like the quality of text that is run through. So there needs to be like some sort of repetition in there for it to become valuable.
Yeah, so it requires enough data. You would not do with 100 feedback. You would not get something very thorough. And it will also require just an hour. And really, this is what we do. We spend an hour looking at the data to refine a bit the model and to support the model and to tell, hey, the specifics of my company, if I sell bikes or if I sell laundry detergents, the specifics of that, the AI might not really get it. I might be interested in some information that you don't have. So teach the AI how to do that. But really, it's so quick. It's about making sure some keywords, specific keywords are understood, and then playing around with this like a drag and drop of categorization. So yeah, and then it's a highway to value. One example is like out of the box, you can get information really on decisions you should make, but also decisions you should not make. One example with a client, we wanted to improve the delivery speed for France because we thought the product not being shipped from France, that would take too long and then the customers would be actually dissatisfied. And I was the full contrary. So this is also one very big value in there. You cannot really quantify how much money you're going to save by using a tool like this one, because this is impossible. But here I can actually tell you, if they wanted to invest 200,000 to improve delivery speed, well, then you can invest 200,000 somewhere else where it actually makes sense.
Yeah, and you can also validate like those next steps, what you make. Like if you make like some strategic business decision, you can also see like you can follow the trends basically over time, and you can see, was it actually the correct decision, and did it have the outcome what I planned before, or like didn't it have like that much of an effect what I assumed before? So you can kind of like validate things over time, and you can validate action and see, did I make the right actions? Yeah.
Any one last question, maybe, Luisa?
I'm actually, Christian typed a new question. I think it's particularly important, but looks like soon becoming industry standard. Are you already working on natural language prompting Lumoa's AI so I can ask specific question, chat style, and what's your opinion on pros and cons of such a function?
That's
Okay, I need
philosophical, and that's for you,
yeah,
Niklas.
I need to digest the question for a second. So, are you? So are you meaning like to kind of like that that Lumoa would put out like in a kind of like chat style? What is the issue?
In a prompt, yeah.
Is that what you mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, yeah, I have seen like from our production that it's something what we're considering and what we are looking at, basically to what we now saw, like this story, this insight in this example case, what we put together to put that actually into text format and to make it then even more accurate.
Yeah.
Like to tell a story. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, I think so. And in the end, perfect. You said yes. In the end, it makes us look like rocket scientists because we just found out the root cause of the pain points. But the reality is like the AI found it itself. We're just the one putting a sentence next to it, right? I did not do anything about this discounts coupons issue. So if the AI can prompt that, my top 3 recommendations are, that would be cool.
Wonderful, thank you. So we have 3 minutes. I think we can still ask a last question. So one that we had was in terms of Lumoa pilot, how long will the pilot take to complete?
That's a good question. I think it depends a bit. Like as we are fairly agile and fast company, but typically the flow is that you would send over a data set. Like in the future, like if this is something you want to look more into and which you want to have like in a more continuous base, then there is of course also like integration, so that your tool communicates basically automatically with our tool. But for the scope of the pilot, we typically kind of like you download or extract the data from your existing system. We upload it in Lumoa, and we configure some dashboards for you, and that's about it. So it's like fairly fast, I would say. So, but it depends a bit like on our how free are our internal resources to create those dashboards around it and so on. So yeah.
Yeah, and the quality of the data as well, right? There's a lot of cleaning, processing to be done.
Yeah, and is there some back and forth? Because like sometimes it depends also, like, how is the data set that you deliver us? Like, is there like, for example, background data, which would be nice to have? So we of course also look at those, and then there can be like a little back and forth. But I would say it's fairly easy and straightforward to get your own data there, and to start then also exploring yourself, like how does it look?
Okay, thank you. Okay, so 1 minute before the end, I think. We got, yes, perfect. That's been perfect. Well, I would like to close this webinar with, first of all, a huge thank you to Niklas Kilburg and Matthieu for today's webinar. It's been really, really interesting. And I hope all the participants found it insightful and anyway, like different from what you were expecting as well. And of course, if you have any questions, please do get in touch with both Matthieu and Niklas. I am going to share just now their emails, but you will receive them also by email. And again, thank you all for joining. Thank you, Matthieu and Niklas, and have a wonderful end of the day. You're very welcome. Everyone.
Thanks for joining.
Thank you for having me and for listening in. Have a great rest of the day. Bye.
You too.
Bye, everybody.